March 2022, they were already talking about the plan to topple Nelson Chamisa in their groups. And Watchman Nube is in those groups up to now. And you keep quiet because they will be caucusing come private.
So this guy is called Yuda. So I'm going to play audio rake munyasho dzinzvira zvaari kutaura. This guy is exposing people who were around Nelson Chamisa and vanhu vakadonedza Nelson Chamisa from Triple C, vanhu vataifunga kuti tinavo. And it's a very interesting story yaari kutaura yekuti vanhu vakawanda vanoblema Nelson Chamisa, but Nelson Chamisa has really a problem. So I want you to listen to it very carefully and enjoy. Ndo pamunozonzwisisa zveshuwa kuti Nelson Chamisa is the real deal. Nelson Chamisa ndiye muchinja weipapo, ndiye shoti reipapo. Tisamumhanyisa tisati ingati chilei, but that guy is the only hope we have through Christ who helps us. So without wasting much of your time, listen to the following.
I just want to address vanhu vari kuti Nelson Chamisa is a coward for quitting the party, for quitting Triple C, and for resigning as Triple C. There are so many people that are calling him names. Vamwe vachiti makawadi, vamwe vakati a good leader does not jump the ship. So many things have been spoken against him. But one thing that these very some people are dismissing is their role in that whole scenario. For instance, if we look at meeting yakaitwa naWatchman Ngube, this recently ended meeting yavaita vana Ngube, follow the pattern. By independence, we saw the same crew moving together of Watchman Ngube, Tendai Biti, Epmochi Dziva, Jacob Mafume, and their hangers on. Their kabaos, Nana Wende, Nana Kademaunga. We saw them very it's a national event, so these guys, they must attend because independent is a national event. But we say no. Independent is supposed to be a national event. Heroes Day is supposed to be a national event. Defense Forces Day is supposed to be a national day. But the problem that we have in Zimbabwe is that those days have been personified by ZANU-PF. They actually conduct their rallies on that day. How do you attend an independence celebration? Ya unosika ZANU-PF yobvetanga kutaura kuti pamberi neZANU-PF yobvetanga kutaura kuti pasi naChamisa, pasi nemwana weZimbabwe. Imagine a citizen of the country anonzi pasi naChamisa, pasi neMandu. And then we have a question yekubvunza kuti saka Mandu inenge ichitaurwa pa independent celebration whereby we are celebrating the dawn of the democracy yenyika, patiri kupemberera kuuya kwerusununguko nehurumende yeguta ruzhinji, nehurumende yejekerere. Ipapo ndipo panosvika pachinzi pasi naChamisa kana kuti pasi nemwana weZimbabwe. Izita remwana weZimbabwe rinenge richitaurwa nje pasi naye pa celebration yedemocracy. And then we say we are a democratic country. We need to introspect. Then we have our leaders going there, attending the rally, come independence celebration, and we see them again with that same setting at Maurice's with wife's funeral. It was, the funeral yakapedzisira yava a convergence of questionable characters. It was no longer a funeral. It was now a battleground of ideologies. It was now a battleground of personalities. It was now a battleground for verification and for validation, for public verification and public validation. We saw the political players play out a charade, a facade, pa funeral pe munu, to try and convince Vana Zimbabwe could know we were all together in good books with Maurice's Wizwai. May his soul rest in peace. It's unfortunate kuti you can run the race, but it is the ending that matters. Murisu Zizai finished the race on a bad note. Akatengesa. Because aupise musha iwona kuti mapinda gonzo. Tozokuona wainda the other side. And then, yes, vananeta wafawanaka. But let the truth prevail. Ndara akazopedzisira atengesa. Because kudya kumadya aya emuparliament aya anga aenda mudhara akatongona kuti bheta nditambe nachabangu ndiite sendidye. Then he went back. So what I'm trying to address here, inyaya, I want to dispel the myth yekunzi Nelson Chamisa is a coward. We need to rethink. CCC was created in 2018, and then in 2019 we went to the Congress, but the Congress was done under MDC Alliance Party in 2019 Congress, and then the COVID judgment handed over the party to Douglas Monzora, and they nullified the Congress of 2019. So in other words, Nelson Chamisa had no party. There was no more party called MDC Alliance because it was nullified by the COVID-19 judgment. Yakapiwa mu COVID year. Yataka pesra taona musangano wa MDC Alliance uchiparadwa uchitwa handed over to Douglas Monzora. So atiziva na vakutaura kuti Triple C inoshandisa ma structures MDC Alliance at 2019 tvari kuzvitora kupi because there was no more MDC Alliance after that judgment. That is why muchiona 22 January 2022 Nelson Chamisa launches a party and he called it a new party. He go back and revisit his speech. Anotaura that it is a new party. Atichataura as alliance, atichataura as MDC. We are now talking of a new party, 22 January 2022. Meaning that we had moved away from MDC Alliance because dare guru nyika rakatonga kuti MDC Alliance aipo, the Congress I recognize and it part now belong to Thokozani Kupe and Douglas Monzora. Nana Komich, who then went to have their extraordinary Congress, and they contested my election at 26 March 2022 as MDC Alliance. Douglas Monzora akano contest my elections iwayo at 26 March 2022 as MDC Alliance. Then Chamisa vakatungamirira CCC ika contested the same by-election as Triple C, which means we had already moved away from MDC Alliance, which meant that we are now two distinct different movements. MDC Alliance ya yava Monzora, and then Triple C ya yava Chamisa. Now you have Wolfman Ngobe coming to say kuti our structures are modeled around the structures of MDC Alliance at 2019 Congress. In other words, you are taking us back to the same problem yaka create kwana Thokozani Kupe and the constitutional judgment which ended the battle to Thokozani Kupe and Douglas Monzora. So in other words, we will be going back again, taking the party back to Thokozani Kupe and Douglas Monzora. And now we have to submit to the leadership of 2014 Congress, which is madness. Because on 22 January 2022, Nelson Chamisa clearly stated that we are a new movement called Citizen Coalition for Change. We had moved away from MDC Alliance. There was no more party called MDC Alliance. And these guys, they did not dispute that. Nobody disputed that. And I want to point out the fact that takazoenda kuma elections at 26 March 2022, the by-election, Tendai Biti himself contested in Harare East as MP for Citizens Coalition for Change. Tendai Biti himself. He was an MP candidate for Harare East under Triple C. Hepmo Chidziva Bondo. He also contested for High Food West as the candidate MP for Triple C. We saw the same thing happening to Wende. All the guys that were recalled, Takavaona Machi contest under the banner of Triple C as my MP on 26th March 2022. And they went back into the parliament, these guys. Then most of a convergence now and they tell you kuti our CCC party is structured around MDC Alliance at 2019. But on 26 March, after Nelson Chamisa gave a speech on the launch to say we are a new movement, they contested in the new movement under the banner of Triple C. The same people. They avanakona mbokomblena, avanakubuda vachitaura kuti zvatarwa nemukuru hazvisirizo. Vakatoenda kuma election vakomana vakatocontesta vakatowina vakadzokera ku parliament. Zvibvumirano zvese zvavakaita zvese zvibvumirano in the Citizen National Assembly, which were not private to the public. Vakacreate cluster leadership, vakaita migwazvo. And they disseminated that information to all the structures to say this is now the new model of operation. And Vana Zimbabwe, they said they followed suit and they supported them, they rallied behind them. But in Matabeleland, we started having a problem of regional politics. The one who felt he is the one who is supposed to dictate the vote in Matabeleland, who enters and who does not. So these guys, they used tribalism to galvanize support in Matabeleland and whip up emotions of the Ndebele people to work against the perceived Shona leadership in Matabeleland. So we have a problem whereby the MDC Green, there is a group not on the CCC National platform where they were talking about these things on a daily basis and on a tribal card. These guys, March 2022, they were already talking about the plan to topple Nelson Chamisa in their groups. And Watchman Nube is in those groups up to now. And you keep quiet because they will be caucusing kuma private. So Ngenzo Chabangu was then in Matabeleland North, trying to wrestle Matabeleland North from Prince Jubika Sibanda so that they will install Gebuza. And they failed. So they perceived Prince Jubika Sibanda as the main one Nelson Chamisa, and they did not want that. So they fought him and they went to Nkai, they did the same thing. They wanted to install their people. And they were fighting with Jabu Hadebe. So these guys, they lost the fight in Nkai, they lost the fight in Matabeleland North. They failed to remove Prince Tubeko, they failed to remove Jabu Hadebe. They went to Matabeleland South, they tried the same thing, they failed. They went to Bulawayo Central and they found Giant. Kunema Giant in Bulawayo. Boys, remember Bulawayo was now the hotbed of the Cobra gang. Yakasiwa during the time of the rebellion of Tokozani Kupe. So you find that Kunema Koma na Marikwa, Wana Ostalos, Wana Eric Gono, Wana Tepiso, Wakoma na Naskana, Wana Nicola Watson. These guys were perceived as Nelson Chamisa's loyalists. And what Nube Iwe Univan, I don't Vapindi, but Vagaroa, Pama Primary. So Sengenzo's job was now to sign the double candidate at the instruction of the regional leaders of Matabeleland. It had nothing to do with Nelson Chamisa. And one thing people do not seem to acknowledge is that Sengenzo Jabangu was working for Welshman Nube as a messenger at this law firm. Mfesi ya Chandra Welshman Nube, ari messenger basa kwa Welshman Nube, Sengenzo Jabangu. So the Udakuzo Mutumuno wa Chamisa is a lie. Then what happened now? They plotted a plan to remove the guy. So vakatangana double candidate to Matabeleland. The guy on the decent Bajila, Mkoma Bajila vakatiza na list rema provincial representative. Proportional list rema representative. Mkoma Bajila vakatiza na list. Because he had been given that list, it was signed by Wolfman Nube. That's why Blawai is still a proportional representative at provincial level. Because of that standoff, one double candidature coming from the Watchman Nube's camp. But today they want to tell you it's tribalism. Yet, these guys are the actual tribalists. So we had that problem, which culminated in the recall of the 10 guys, in the barring of the 10 guys from contesting Vagano Winako Court, and then they were able to contest. And then Sengenzo Chabangu started recalling them after the election. It was a plan that was already hatched. Nema face wire. Then when I attend the morning after, the morning after. Chavanga watu gadzira. Kuma singo drine problem yana masodoko. Ya ne party ya division kao. Vachira na ya Operation Snowball to undermine the leadership and the legitimacy of Nelson Chamisa. I want to put it on the record. In every party you have internal problems. You have a disagreement. But those disagreements should not be the basis for the destruction of the party. Kana mukataza kuiranaga is put it out to vote. Kote kupamato panya party nekuti mimi atisikura nemuono watarwana ningi. I'm one of the people who was advocating strongly for the structures. I advocated for primary election. I was not receptive to the idea of the structureless. I viewed it as undemocratic, and I viewed the primary, the Beregamana as undemocratic. The consensus route, I did not agree with it. But because it was what the majority wanted, including the people that are now complaining, those ideas ne ruzhinji kusanganisira iyo vanatenda ibitiwa vava vese those I did know we are going structureless, we are going nechi itakuta bereka mwana. We told them kuti it undemocratic. We found them day and night telling that guys, that route is not democratic. But they went that route. Still, despite our reservation, despite our disagreement, despite our opinion, taka campaign na msangano. Sakadaro, we still campaigned for msangano. We still supported my candidate. You are chakabuda mbereka mwana taka supporter. We still back them up. Why? For the greater good. Because this thing is bigger than us. It is about the freedom of the people. It is about the freedom of the Zimbabwean. It is about the fight for change, the fight for freedom. That's what we're fighting for. So we realize, no, this thing is bigger than us. So our sentiment should not carry the day, but the freedom of the people is of the utmost importance. So let us beg whatever method that is, as long as it visas ZANU-PF. That's what we did. And we begged the party, we supported the party, we pushed for the party. Meanwhile, when I beat by undermine party. Fast forward, my election, I hit Mukoma number. Let me go back. Wakomana wapinda parliament after 26 March by election. They were paid $40,000 loan. Chamisa kava that Musato remarizozo. Wakaita naro. And they rebelled against him. Wakatora marizozo. So the people were angry and were ready to punish my MP Akatora nari. Those are primary election. It was Nelson Chamisa ango mungo bati mimi at primary election. No, these things are discussed. One was discussed and put it out to vote. But wakomana wakazi wakaenda ma primary elections avaskudoka because the people were angry. So despite the narrative ya murku government trim, do wakaramba ma primary. Do waka advocate for ma structureless. They advocated for Bereka Mwana. Even the very same people, because they knew if they go squarely and fairly in the primary election, the people were angry, they were going to remove them. So they were hoping a consensus, they were going to be imposed on the people. But still, on the Beregamana, the people, they had that thought, they were still removed. That's what made them angry. They were hoping because of popularity. But when I got 40,000, they were bisqua. And then they even became more angry. And now, instead of getting angry by themselves, they got angry against Nelson Chamisa. Then we went to the election. But my 40,000 were told. I'm coming about that Musadore my 40,000. After my election, preliminary report Rabudam 25. Chamisa got a parliament apana. Mamirira geta zina nesa tarwa nesa daga atinga indo parliament pakadai vakaita naro vakataurati wewe una electwa. So they had their own committee of the elected MPs where they went and sat and they agreed kuti susu we are going to parliament because Chamisa is not elected. So they went to parliament against the advice ya Nelson Chamisa. And then Chabangu started, boom, akaburita plan yake, it was then implemented. Chamisa kanyora mudenda tsamba kuti my communication said they go through me. Mudenda chose to ignore Chamisa and entertained Chabangu. So ZANU-PF was now robbed into buy into Chabangu's plan. Because ZANU-PF either two-third majority. So they bought into Chabangu's plan. That's why Mudenda enabled Chabangu. Because ZANU-PF either two-third majority. And they rebelled. So they ignored Nelson Chamisa and went with Chabangu as the Secretary General. Where fake, no one chose Secretary General. Even Watchman Nube Ano this year to Chabangu was not the Secretary General. So that was a new period and we were embracing him because he assumed the SG through strategic ambiguity is a damn lie. In other words, he's simply saying the guy is an imposter. That's what he's saying. He's agreeing with the Chabangu is an imposter, but the imposter chawa evil. Because if you check the recalling pattern, the pattern is a follower. When that you remove parliament, my baby gets too. Why remove parliament? My baby, when they are in parliament, you are in parliament. Why were they not record? You need to scrutinize this. In all this, tendai bitaga aga teaser, aga vundu about Chabangu aga dumzi. And the cause, and I got nothing to do with that party. I'm minding my own business. That was tendai bit. But in another audio, that mamanya changa anga perega munu. Kuti mamanya ku implement a plan. Chaida kumpeda munu. The idea was to get Chamisa arrested. Vabata ma record the triple C. Vabata ma document the triple C. The idea was to get him arrested. But na Chabangu ne zungu manya vamanya wakanojiputisa. But I want you to know that Chamisa is not a dumb. He's not a fool. I got to pin that my election. I kito zizivanya the seeds. I zizia. My plan is I mazia ese. But I can go to chenga ose mananga. Pana nirna moji. I got the regas kuriana sora nesta with no sawa tangana pakukoa. So I to zizia zizia zavai runga. Those are runga. Kujoga kwa coupe had nothing to do with Chamisa. It's a Mubeka bow that enforced the coupe on Nelson Chamisa. So Chamisa agavuma because those are rider. And he was outvoted. You must remember this thing, it was a vote, and they come to the majority. The majority said we are taking my 40,000 loan. The majority said we are going to parliament. And when Chabangu happened, he told them, Buddha in parliament, Vagaramba. And they disengaged. Vagateta press conference, we disengaged Anna Otalos. But what happened? The following day, Tagawa Navagasara in parliament. So Chamisa realized that he had lost political power. I want you to answer Kuti. How do you lead one who knows that my 40,000 loan is a trap? How do you lead one who knows that my election even Sadak for the first time is condemning my election? Parliament to protect our autonomous zone. How do you lead one who record an imposter and they still go to parliament regardless of you advising them to disengage? And then they start asking you to write a letter to condemn Chabangu. Yet you guys, you are not listening to what the leader is saying. How do you lead such people? But when he realized that he had lost the political power, so whatever he was saying was not going to be entertained. As the president of the executive, even if he implemented his executive powers, no one was going to entertain him. So he resigned. So calling him a coward is misplaced. He simply did the right thing to say, no, you guys got with the expectation that you have. A new leader so that you implement your ideals, you believe in your principles. I cannot continue like this. And then he stepped out of the platform and you call him a coward. Because you cannot justify a few people eating at the expense of the masses. And you call your leader a coward simply because he refused to be bought. Then on autumn 10 days, George Jaramba clearly come out and say Nelson Chamisa agaramba the dura takamba. Nelson Chamisa refused to become the leader of opposition. Angada ene motorcade. Angada to nema bodyguard is so, but he refused. Yet Mondora Vuma. Where is Mondora now? The electorate punished him. So Chamisa is a coward. You need to think again. And you also need to think again. But I can assure you, among all these rat, Apana a charismatic leader. No one can pull the crowd the way Chamisa does. The people of Zimbabwe believe in the leadership of Nelson Chamisa. And Chamisa is no longer a name. He's now an ideology. He's an idea. He's an enigma. He is the hope and is an embodiment of the hope and aspiration of the masses. So he's not just a name. The name Chamisa is now an ideology on its own. Not to say we are canonizing Moon or that we are praising Moon. We are saying Ziripo. Those river ground guys. Those Musanyeperane, you could mchawumba pata mugozo, manyanayo, ana wenda, wagozo mobilize, wagoto wana 2 million votes, nana ngube, it furanoko. And I want to remind you from 2005, what's my Ngube Tangesa? Oh, okay, you fought with Tangrai and they split the party. Kind of for my MDC Green. We saw the same thing happening in 2013 and IBT fight with Tangrai. Kind of for the renewal Nanamango, Magano split Avamber. We see the same thing. Togozan Kupe refusing to sit down with Tangrai until Tangrai died and then she came to the funeral. But he rebelled against Morgan Tangrai. And then we see the same characters converging themselves around Nelson Chamisa and canonizing him as a leader, only to rebel again from Nelson Chamisa. So we have a situation whereby the same characters are selling out the struggle over and over and over again and repeatedly. So now when they start speaking the unit language, the question is, because my citizens are chada. The citizens are tired. So one thing that you need to realize, you can make elitistic decisions. Mugo ita sasa muru kuita ma boardroom kam. Mugo budane sma pato senyuna na zama kuita makaungani zana mchita sma meeting wana Wolfman wana wende wanani. Guys ga mato pera. Dok pera kwa maite kuku. The citizens are going to punish you. The citizens are not going to forgive you. Douglas Monzora is now a champion M0. You are going the same route. I want to put it on record today. Kuti, Triple C as a party is finished, just like MDC Alliance. And they bought into ZANU-PF, Mandra and Ideals. Vakadya Maria Scott Sakupanya pamabhuku apa. Vanachabangwa. Vakadya Maria Sekutumburwa. Kutile Good West. Vanachabangwa. Vakadya Maria. That's why they are quiet. They will never challenge ZANU-PF. They will never challenge ZANU-PF because they are eating with ZANU-PF. When are going to kiss the draft Zayma, size I get in knife. Size I went it now, you are going to kiss the draft Zayma. You must just shut up and enjoy my Bagarum Parliament. Otherwise, we will expose him. The citizens are angry. It's also my citizens. Takatama. And the Truon and the Yagan to this year foot. So let us be very clear. Kuti. Kipati cha Washington ito chini wake zadakwa. And our blue movement are and this young. You need to on a personal notice. You know that Moses akakwira mgomo kuno namata. Moses akakwira mgomo kuno namata. Aaron akasara kaumbira vanhu chidhoro achitoda kunamata toda kunamata. Akavaumbira chimombe akatanga kunamata. So maonera angu ndeyekuti ichi chidhoro cha Moses ichi chakaumbwa. Hazi mwaru. Mirirai Moses adzoke mgomo. No advice and no kusira enough.
If you listen up to now, you are the people who really want to see the situation change in our country, and I believe it's very, very soon. It will happen, guys. It will happen, but I want us to discuss in the comment section. What do you think about this? Do you still blame Chamisa or why you blame Awere? If yes, Ramira say is. Tell us what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.